Welcome everybody to Rad Pod and Chill.
We have an echo.
Oh,
Not me.
Well, I have to apologize because I got my new Technotronics to make sure that my Wi-Fi is great in the room where I like to film, and I haven't plugged them in yet. So here I am in my bedroom being lo-fi with hi-fi and Jim. Super happy to be here tonight. In the words of my friend, the great punk poet Mike Ness of Social Distortion, I wasn't born to follow, and neither were these guys. And that's why we have such an amazing show. This weekly live stream is just hanging with us at the bar, talking about disinformation and breaking news. Basically, tune in on Mondays, though, for our regular episodes that feature such guests as Ruth Ben-Ghiat, David Pepper, Jason Stanley, and a whole slew of other brilliant people. All right, so you guys, there's some breaking news right out of the Twitterverse.
I'm getting a terrible echo on your voice. I don't know if anyone else is, but
nope, that's just you.
No, I'm getting it on me too.
How about the audience? Audience, are you getting an echo? Hi, Alex. No, Carrie says no. Just you, Jim.
Do you have two devices on?
Maybe I do. Hold on. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
It's me. I'm a fucking moron. That's all.
You're not a moron. You're brilliant.
It's delicious, Blue Eyes.
Okay, so Jim.
Here, you guys talk while I find wherever this is. Here it is. now I'm okay.
Here, how about I show a video?
Yeah, let's do that.
Here, I'm back. I'm back. I'm good. I'm this fucking idiot.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to talk about Twitter then, if you're back.
I am back. So
tell us about Twitter.
Twitter's going down.
Here's the question: will we have a roasted bird by Thanksgiving?
You mean I have no idea, but look, Twitter is in the process of imploding. Twitter has 1,000 employees left, down from like 12,000 if you include all the contractors. There are literally people on Twitter offering to come to Twitter headquarters to help Elon Musk keep it running. The entire Android division left, which means that Android doesn't work right now. It literally doesn't work. Seriously, like half of mobile doesn't work. And it's every single possible thing a person could do to destroy a business, destroy everything about it, is what has been done. And the question has to be, is he doing that on purpose? Now, well, yes and no. He is definitely taking over and trying to make changes on purpose, but I don't actually think he meant to shut it down tonight. like I don't, because he said, by the way, in case anybody missed it, he sent an email to his employees yesterday saying the following: we are going hardcore only now. You have to be in the office all the time. You cannot stay at home, and it's going to be super hardcore, or you get 3 months severance. And apparently a shit ton of people were like, that sounds great. Let me do that severance part because you sound like an absolute psycho.
Mhm.
And so a whole bunch of them left. And now he's basically sitting in the server room with this with a shotgun and a bunch of like MREs like waiting for the apocalypse. It's the
I'm a
craziest
very good
goddamn thing I
CEO.
have ever
Yes,
seen in my
very good
entire life.
CEO. I'm the
Well,
best CEO.
let's talk about,
That
okay,
fucking
you know how, so you know how a few months ago I kept saying, what is Twitter? What is Twitter? And I was asking like a real like existential question, like what is it and what purpose is it serving? And so let's go back to, I don't know, let's go back some years to when it was like the place where people kind of like wrote about their food and restaurants and sort of connected, and you know, pre 2016. And
Well, I mean, when it really started, if I can, if you want to
yeah,
go a little bit of history,
sure.
go back 20 years to the dot-com bust,
Yeah.
right? We had Friendster and like, everybody would chat and AOL and Yahoo chat and whatever. It was relatively normal-ish. And then the dot-com bust happened. You had all of this excess technology infrastructure. You had all of these people out of business, who out of work, who were trying to figure out. And guess who swooped in to that atmosphere? If anybody was around 20 years ago during the dot-com bust, it was like a nuclear winter because the
Yeah. Right.
whole economy of the dot-com
Right.
broke. And
Right.
Peter Thiel and all of these monsters came into that environment and said, "Ooh, I can build a psyop, basically,
Yeah.
um, in the absence of any adult supervision, because all the adult supervision went out of the room during the dot-com bust. Everyone went away, and it was just these assholes, and
Amazing.
they built algorithm chasers. They built machines that would go chase the best algorithm for getting engagement, which means anger, which means money, which means anger, and over again until you get what you have right now."
Wow. And how many of us lost family members because of Facebook? Like how many of us lost the brains of family members because of what happened to them on Facebook and what happened to their friends? Like we are not
And
going
then
to
on
know
Twitter,
about
I
the
mean,
Twitter too, but I'm talking about first for me and
absolutely, yeah.
many others was Facebook, right? So anyway, my point is that like around 2016, those of us certainly with media experience, you know, as reporters, particularly those like me that found themselves unshackled by a corporation and able to report with my expertise and my training on what was happening globally and what was happening with Trump Russia, we found a community and we found our people and we found activists, and yes, we were infiltrated. Yes, we suffered all of that, but we found this incredibly rich community. I found you guys. I found Byline Times. You know, prior to that, I was working for a startup, Millennial Politics. Like we all found each other, and in a couple of weeks, and we know how defective it's been. We know all the operations. We know Prigozhin's troll, you know, army. We know all about the propaganda, all that, and yet we found each other. I found Ruth Ben-Ghiat on Twitter. I found Jason Stanley on Twitter. We found David Pepper on Twitter. We found all our allies, Ukrainian soldiers, John Sweeney, all the richness of the people that bring us the news from around the world in this time of grave deception, unfiltered and without corporate shackles. And in a matter of weeks, Elon Musk blew it up, decimated
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I'm going to dispute that because I think Twitter has not been a free speech platform at all, right? It was de facto the quote town square, and it was survivable because it was run by a libertarian, crypto fascist instead of a psychotic psychopath that, you know, they have right now. But people are going to find each other, right? That is what people will do. It's just how do they do that and in what context? And so, you know, I think, yes, absolutely. I found lots of people on Twitter, but Twitter also fucking traumatized the shit out of me,
Yeah,
silenced me,
me too.
hurt my friends, and has generally caused an enormous amount of pain. And we're seeing the reason right
Yeah.
now, because it's always been this way. It's always been a political, psychological operation that is driving the narrative depending on the people who are running it. And that needs to not be the default way that human beings talk to each other.
That is
So
absolutely true.
I am not hiding my glee, frankly, that the thing is, you know, I hope it goes belly up for real. Sorry. I know a
Uh,
lot of people have a lot of work on there.
I
There's a
get
lot
it.
of history, but
I get
it
it.
caused a lot of harm.
Have you
I get it.
downloaded your data, Heidi?
Not in a minute. So,
Shit.
yeah, I've done it periodically over the years. The last time I did it was probably about a year ago, 6 months to a year ago. Um, so I guess where it's hard for me is that despite all the trauma and all the online harms and all the operations and all the attacks, I managed to find a way to continue to communicate with people. And I managed to find a way to kind of navigate around all of the trauma landmines. And um, and so
But not really. You can't have your replies on. You can't, like,
truth,
it sucks.
truth.
Here's the thing. Mastodon is not like the savior of everything. However, within a couple of weeks, like it's like the good day, like a really good day on Twitter. You know, when I was smaller, I was smaller, and it was like
Yeah.
a I wasn't there wasn't this organized crazy ass like
Mob.
swirling psyop around
Yeah.
everything, right?
Right.
Um, and I got that and I haven't been on Twitter in a year, and I kind of
Wow.
built a little Mastodon thing in a couple weeks, and I like it.
All
So
right.
what the reason I say that is not to promote Mastodon, although I am promoting Mastodon. Come to Mastodon; it's fucking awesome. But independent of Mastodon, people are going to find a way, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, I think maybe what needed to happen is a bit of a shock to the system where everyone goes, oh, holy shit, actually, no, this really isn't the right way for people to communicate with each other. And maybe we really do need to find a better way.
Well, we certainly need a safer way and a less traumatic way. And I wonder what is to stop the Prigozhin operations and the Eric Prince operations and the Mike Flynn operations from exploiting any platform.
Well, of course, and they will, but there is a difference. There's a major difference, several major differences. And let me tell you, first of all, there is no central controlling operation. The reason why Twitter was sucked so bad for me in particular is because I spent thousands of hours building a thing. Then they just fucking cut me off and ghosted me. And there was not a goddamn thing I could do about it. I couldn't get my stuff, my information. I couldn't get talk to my followers. I couldn't do anything, right? On something like Mastodon, that's not the case. If I get canceled from the server I'm on, I can take all my shit and go somewhere else. And it's my stuff, right? There's a separation between the platform and what I own, which is my followers and the people that I follow, right? That is a very fundamental difference. So yes, there are already ops showing up from Twitter. Everybody, once everyone leaves Twitter, they're going to come to fucking Mastodon. But they don't have the advantages that they had there, which is Twitter, the management, was on the side of the people who were running these
Absolutely.
operations.
Absolutely.
100% on the side of the people who were running all this coordinated harassment shit. And they were the only people in power, or the people who were on their side. So there's nothing you could do.
Right.
So that is no longer, that is not the situation on Mastodon. Also, the entire thing is not set up on an algorithm at all. And this is very important. Twitter's and Facebook's algorithm intentionally forces you into anger and conflict because that's the design. So Mastodon is just chronological, gives you the exact, it is deterministic. There's no AI controlling it. There's nothing different. Could it be, and will it be, misused? Yes, but the way that it can heal itself is much more robust, because people can always just jet and go wherever the hell else they want and still be connected to the overall universe.
All right. Well, I think the reason this conversation is so incredibly important is because we can no longer deny that this other universe, this webiverse, that we all live our lives in it. So, the fact that we have been living our lives in spaces that have been infiltrated and have been receiving mafia state money to allow bad actors to proliferate there, and we've had no control over that, has meant that we are living in a really unsafe place. And so it's very important that we have these types of alternatives, because it's not, we used to say, like Jim said recently, we used to live in the real world and then have this virtual world as kind of an accessory. That is no longer the case. We actually do spend a lot of our times living in these virtual spaces. And to know that we have been so misused and abused, especially those of us trying to bring truth. If you're just posting pictures of dogs, cats, and maybe your food, maybe you're left alone, but you still are traumatized. Like when I wake up to a reporter or a writer or whatever standing for Prigozhin, who brought us the not only the Wagner group but also the troll house out of St. Petersburg, and I can't bleach my eyes after seeing it and reading it. It's meant to be abusive. It's meant to psychologically harm my brain. And again, being a reporter, I can see that what I'm reading is Prigozhin trying to make himself the top alpha male in Russia and trying to, out strongman Putin. And nevertheless, I realize I'm being manipulated and I'm being abused, and I'm just one person. There's millions being exposed to that daily.
I mean, the thing that I've been honestly shocked about of late is just there's a huge cognitive dissonance between what's actually happening in terms of the level and overtness of Russian propaganda at this point, and any seeming sort of acknowledgement of that.
Yeah.
Like, you've got Tucker now just literally just directly straight attacking Ukraine, straight, not just simping for Putin, but actually advocating for him, right? They're no longer, I think after the election, they got the memo that, okay, it's not going to damage our candidates anymore, so fucking go for it, right? And so you've got these people out there that are just straight up pro-Russia, anti-American, and it's all over the place, and on the left and on the right, and the press does not seem to want to even mention it.
Well,
okay, my
it's
turn.
all about the
No,
right
my turn.
wing. Yes, sir. Please.
My turn. All right. Today, a Dutch court found 3 Russians guilty of shooting down MH17. Russian-sponsored state terrorism. It's got to be fucking time.
yeah.
It's got to be time.
What was that, 10 years ago? You know, how many years ago was that?
Prigozhin admitting he's meddling in our elections.
Mm-hmm.
The Trump aide who was convicted today of funneling Russian money to the Trump campaign.
Mm-hmm.
What is it going to take?
I don't know.
To get this handled? Where is the FBI? Where is the DOJ? Where is Garland? Why is the corrupt Michael DeWine reelected governor of Ohio when the man is tied to the biggest bribery scandal in my state's history? Like,
well,
Ray
is getting
what the hell?
Ray is clearing up the Chinese influence.
Oh yeah, that's going great.
So Merrick Garland said that they are undertaking the biggest investigation in the Department of Justice history, and I believe that. When we follow these networks and we follow these networks and we follow these ties, we see how interconnected it is. And again, I've said this a million times on this show. We in America, in our imperfect democracy, we have had corruption with a lowercase c. When we allowed all of the mafia money into our country and all the offshoring and all the dark money and Citizens United, we got corruption with a capital C and really a capital T. And when I read Trump's speech, his recent announcement, how he wants to stay out of prison by trying to run for quote unquote president again, I happened to be listening to Jason Stanley's How Fascism Works that day. I was listening to the audio version of it. And every single line, note for note, is right out of How Fascism Works. The mythic past, all of it, the unreality, the anti-intellectualism, every single bit of it was right there in that speech. And the fact that we all played around on, our laptops about this clown for all these years, and that we didn't in 2016 fight back as we should have. I tried, I did, but that is our failing.
I mean, he went straight to ethnic cleansing the other night, which shocked me. Nobody. I guess it doesn't shock me, but he said he is going to take armed people into inner cities and clean up the gang members, the drug dealers, and the human traffickers. Right? He's going to go into inner cities to clear out the nests, is what he said. He also said out loud, all drug dealers should be put to death without a blue ribbon commission. That while what they do in the Philippines by shooting drug dealers on the spot might be a little over the top, according to Donald Trump. He's basically in line with that program. That's what we're talking about, right? No. We're talking about this fucking guy literally murdering people, lots of them. Well, that is the point that we're at, and that is what they are advocating for, and that is what the House of Representatives is going to do everything in their power to try and make happen as well.
Ooh, that reminds me. Look, there is this thing called a digital forensic image that is required of a piece of technology, be it a phone, a laptop, a desktop, a server, whatever. No digital forensic image of Hunter Biden's laptop has ever been produced. So anyone who says shit to you about Hunter Biden's laptop, you say, Show me the digital forensic image. Oh, you can't produce one? Why? Because it's fake, dude.
Okay, but here's the thing, Hi-Fi. So let me just
That's
stop.
not talking.
Hold on. Let me stop for a second. Lying is the message. So even that we are talking about it, whether it's to rebuke, to refute, to whatever, it doesn't matter. That means they're controlling the narrative. Lying is the message. And if the media continues to parrot what propagandists, what these corrupt liars have to say, then we've already lost.
Well,
yes.
No. The Republicans just took the House, so we're going to hear lies for the next 2 fucking years.
Oh, absolutely.
Enough of them are put away
Yes.
for their part in the insurrection.
100% Hi-Fi.
That we don't have to hear their BS anymore.
It would be nice, right? It would be nice if we could do that, but unfortunately, they have actual power, right? It's one thing when they're out there just yapping on Twitter or something. It's another thing when they're literally pulling people away from their lives to go have to defend themselves in front of some Benghazi, psychotic Hunter Biden committee, which is what they're going to do for real. And it's going to destroy people's lives. It's going to be a huge mess. So I do think it's important that we, acknowledge what they're trying to do. And what they're trying to do is just set up they're setting up Donald Trump campaign headquarters in the House. And every single, committee is going to be about, electing.
If we don't have a better way to report on it, if we don't find another way, we're going to be on the losing side of this. So we have to figure out what that's going to be, because parroting them, commenting on it, refuting it, that's just playing whack-a-mole. And that's still them controlling the narrative. So we have to figure out a way to be smarter moving forward. And maybe that's going to take multiple conversations. But it's not about the truth. When I say lying is the message, they're going to keep on changing the message because it has nothing to do with anything other than gaining power and retaining power. It has nothing to do with it's going to be CRT. It's going to be Hunter Biden's laptop. It's going to be wokeness. It's going to be whatever that's coming out of the Koch cadre think tanks. And if we're going to think that we're going to refute it one at a time, then we've already lost. We have to figure out another way to boomer.
Boomer moment.
Boomer.
Sorry, I forgot I muted myself. How many members of the House of Representatives are currently under investigation?
More than
we
one.
We don't know.
Well, we know we got Matt Gaetz, right?
Look, we're not. There's no fucking way we're going to do that right here. Because we don't know. We don't know. But here's what I do know.
I bet Gal Suburban knows. She's in chat.
Here's what I know. If we were playing by the same rules as the Republicans, there would be a whole bunch of actual insurrectionists sitting in Congress who would be going to jail, right?
Wouldn't that
because
be nice?
but not because they committed fucking crimes, right? They would be gone. But we're not there yet. And if we got the ones that just the insurrectionists out, guess what? We would have the majority in the House.
Well, we're going to get all
that is how politics is played.
Really?
We're going to get all those crazy backbenchers. We're going to get all the crazy. We're going to get all the crazy backbenchers, and we are going to do what Fred P. Wellman told us to do. We're going to chronicle it. We're going to record it, and we're going to get people to run against him. Do you remember what David Pepper was saying? How we left all these seats unchallenged? We're not going to do that anymore, right, kids? Speaking of which, I think it's two things I want to say. We have some wonderful video from our recent archives, our recent interviews with David Pepper and with Fred P. Wellman, two very critical interviews that we've done. And then we also, Hi-Fi, just FYI, I sent you some anagrams.
Oh,
So
yeah?
look for those. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll look for those in a second. But you know what? Let's watch some David Pepper real fast.
Yeah, let's do
And
it.
yeah, the attack is happening in states. And let's be clear, they always learn from their failures. They don't just give up. There are discussions right now about, I'm sure, what to do in Arizona. You know, I go through it in Ohio. They're going to learn from what Ohio did to attack an independent judiciary. There is work. They always adjust. They don't give up. If anyone thinks that Donald Trump is just walking away, they're crazy. Like, you cannot walk. I mean, think about 2020. He lost everything at the federal level. He got crushed by 7 million votes. At this moment, only 8% of America said that something was wrong with that election. And within months, it was, a majority of the Republican Party. So I couldn't agree more. Those who are not willing to live with the results of a diverse democracy will not accept this. They will learn from it. They will keep fighting. And where will they primarily do it? In states. So yes, I totally agree with you. And again, this talk about, they're going to, I mean, if they didn't reject Trump after the 20 outcome, right, which was a disaster and an insurrection that he clearly led, and they still didn't only impeach him, but then they're all running around with him within months. Kevin McCarthy, J.D. Vance, continue. Even if Trump does go away, and I don't think he will, I don't think they understand what they've created.
Yep. What they've created.
I mean, we'll see what they've created.
Well, I still,
We know what they're trying to create, right?
Jim, tell our viewers why he's done and why he's been done for a year. Because once again, he starts showing up, the narrative shifts, everybody starts refuting things, and it becomes a rat fuck again.
You mean Trump?
Yeah.
Well, because he's a big, flabby, used-up puppet who doesn't have any remaining juice. If anybody saw that thing the other night, it was dark and god-awful and all of that, but it just didn't seem to actually be in him. And I think the whole thing is just a LARP to try and get the DOJ to not indict him.
Right, of course.
And sadly, the fucking DOJ is talking about a special counsel instead of just locking the piece of shit up.
So,
dude.
So everything
he did it in
with
public.
Trump,
He did it in public. What is wrong with them?
Everything with Trump is, you can look at Berlusconi and you can kind of see where things are going, because Italy has a template for this. So he can have corruption charges. He can go, to prison or get convictions, and he still can retain some sort of semblance of power unless he's completely, unless everything is stripped away from him. So that is my concern. But
actually, I need to point something out here about the judicial system in this country, because Elizabeth, what's her last name? Theranos, help me out.
We know who you're talking about. Yes.
The Theranos lady, yes. Holmes.
Yeah. She's prosecutors are asking for 15 years, and yet people have written hundreds of letters saying don't sentence her for her fraud. And because she was rich and she was white, she shouldn't face the same penalty as someone who had pulled the same thing if they were poor and white.
That's fucking insane. I mean, speaking of which, I mean, forget her. What about this asshat Sam Bankman-Fried.
Oh, jeez.
So okay, give me a second. I got a little bit of a TED talk. Crypto,
Do it.
Twitter is not the only thing that's going. So is crypto. And I've been saying this for a very long time, and it took longer than I hoped, but it's going away because it's been a Ponzi scheme from the beginning, set up by the PayPal mafia in order to make themselves rich, launder a shitload of money, and then blow up the economy. That's the whole point of it. They also wanted to blow up the ecology because what does crypto mining take? It takes electricity, which takes fossil fuels, which burns up the fucking world. So crypto is on the way out, and here's how you know: because this 29-year-old asshat on, just standard like 4chan moron with no qualifications whatsoever managed to get people to deposit $32 billion into his completely unregulated, completely just random website that happened to have a few people like Tom Brady simping for it. So because of these celebrities who should be fucking also charged,
yes, or at least
for setting this goddamn.
I do believe they are being sued.
$32 billion of crypto bros and money went into FTX. FTX is supposed to be basically a bank.
Yeah,
it's an exchange, but that I know it's not, but it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a place where your money goes, and then you exchange for other kinds of crypto and shit, and that's it, right? Your thing that goes in there is supposed to be a deposit, and there are things behind it, right, that are supposed to be the securities that back it up. But here's what 29-year-old dipshit Sam Bankman-Fried did. He took the money, all the money from the deposits, and he had a whole other company. This company was called Alameda Investments. Alameda Investments gambles money. That's what it does. It's a gambling place where people give it money and it gambles it, and the people hope they get their money back. That's different from an exchange or bank where it's supposed to stay there, right? But what he did was he took the money from the deposits and he took it over to the gambling place. And then what did he do? He loaned himself money so he could personally gamble. Also, he gambled all the money from the deposits and then lost. So then the people started hearing about this and they were like, fuck that, I want my money. And guess what? The money wasn't there because the money isn't real.
Yeah. Magic.
It never has been.
Yeah.
I'm almost goddamn finished. The money was never there. Crypto is never real. Crypto is a PayPal mafia psyop. Satoshi is a LARP that was wildly successful, like all their other LARPs, and managed to swindle a shitload of people out of trillions of dollars. So here's the one thing that Warren Buffett said, and I will shut up, that you should listen to, and I'm paraphrasing. If you don't understand it, don't buy it. I am a very technical person, have been for a long time. I couldn't understand crypto for the fucking life of me. Web3, metaverse, I've been around for 30 fucking years. None of it meant anything. People have got to understand that the things that are put in front of them, just because there's a commercial with fucking Matt Damon in it, does not mean what he's selling you is real. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
All right, geek moment. Ready? Ready? Geek moment. Here's the geek moment. Listen, the blockchain is nothing but a really, really slow, immutable database that's not worth the fucking time and effort that went into code it. Okay.
Blockchain's fine. Blockchain's fine. Blockchain is an interesting.
Yeah.
It's an interesting distributed database technology, and that's all it is. It is not. It is not magic. It is not. And crypto. Do you know what crypto means? It just means you fucking like you make it really, really hard to figure out, to find the numbers. Like it's literally just finding a special number. You find a special number, and then your number is worth $69,000, right at the top of Bitcoin. 69,000 for a fucking number. So listen, like we're all there's been a lot of this over the last 20 years of these big weird fucking information bubbles that have, you know, kind of glooped out of the slime of the primordial internet, right? And I think we are suffering the slings and arrows of a lot of these at the same time, kind of
All at
bursting.
once. Yeah.
And you know, it's kind of a wild ride, but honestly, I'm okay with it at some level because, you know, shit's got to change.
Yeah.
So if you know, if a bunch of crypto bros have to learn their lesson like I did in the .com bubble, that's how shit works, right?
Right. So, thank you for TED Talk 1 and 2.5.
Sorry, I'll shut up.
No. It's all cool. I mean, I actually was watching our very first episode. Our very first episode has 2,500 views. We had Dave Troy on. We were talking about crypto. We were warning about all of this, and so I feel really good looking at our legacy. Again, I will hold our shows up to anything that's out there. I'm very proud of us.
That's funny. I need to go look at that because I've been saying crypto is bullshit for a very, very long time.
Yes. And so we decided to launch with that very complicated subject because, again, we are a show that tries to be of service. I think it's funny that some of these, you know, jokers can get this money when we're just grateful when people do a $5 Patreon. And yes, that is a pitch because you guys can support our show, you know, with nickels and dimes, and we'll be grateful. It's right there in the link, you know, on our YouTube and on all of our socials. Go ahead and, you know, support the work we do. We've got this week, our 50th episode, we're bringing back Zarina Zabriskie. We need to know what's happening in Ukraine in real time. She is just a vital war correspondent. Her reporting from Moldova was so incredibly important. That Potemkin protest made me really reflect on what Trump has done and how we've all been psyoped into believing something that's not even there. So we can really learn from our friends doing the real boots on the ground work. Speaking of which, Hi-Fi, do we have another video?
Actually, before we do another video, you know what I want to do?
What do you want to do? Anagram?
Anagram. Russian Windows theory.
This is he's too fast. Oh.
Our dishonesty wins war.
Wow.
Russian window theory.
Wow. Russian Windows theory. So I want to flip that.
War.
I want to flip that. I
want to see Russian. I want to see Russian window scandal. I want to see Russian window gate.
Yeah. Somebody else. Who else committed suicide by shooting themselves 5 times today?
He shot himself 5 times. Boyko. He was a colonel who was closely aligned with Putin. He was found in his office. Yes. Suicide by pew pew 5 times. That's
a
man.
Got some quick trigger.
Yeah.
He must have really been wanting to die if he shot himself 5 times.
Before the nerve signal got there, like, just amazing.
Yeah, no, it's
though?
You know, It's just a scandal. It's a I mean, the whole thing is just
So I
absolutely
guess there will
absurd.
be a show. Oh
The
yeah, we
window
didn't talk about this.
industry. I mean, they have these amazing, 5-bullet triggers.
Yeah. Yeah. They also
Maybe it's like a pepper gun.
they have
Had
axes
5 barrels.
that can actually somehow eradicate entire families, and no one knows how they do it. It's really crazy. So what else we got?
Magic Russian weapons.
I will have something to say.
Okay, good.
First of all,
What?
thank you. I want to say to Queen of Everything, Nancy Pelosi, thank you for your fucking leadership and your service. And I don't want to hear any bullshit about this and that. And, no one is fucking perfect. That person broke all the fucking ceilings for
Yeah.
everybody that came after her.
Yeah.
She's been a fucking warrior and has owned the shit out of so many like weak, mediocre white men that we need to fucking like give Nancy Pelosi an absolute moment, because she is a metal beast and I love her. And what they have been doing to her, what they did to her husband is fucking despicable beyond words. Now, that said, she did the right thing. We need right now a different situation in Democratic leadership. We need people who are going to seriously fight this thing on the battlefield that exists, not the one Nancy was used to. And I mean, you saw her on January 6th. She was not fucking around.
No, she's
I
amazing.
am not saying that she did not do her job,
She
but
did.
we need some young, hopefully female blood to come in here and kick some ass, take some names, and stop abiding by norms and ceremony when the other side is trying to slit our fucking throat.
That's right.
So I both honor Nancy's legacy and applaud her decision, and I really hope the Democratic Party makes the right choice.
And I, for one, am not going to memory hole what happened to her husband. I'm not going to forget that these radicalized people are out there harming people, due to the digital poison they've been fed, or the, nefarious people that they've related themselves to coming from mafia states. So I'm not going to memory hole any of it. Hi-Fi, let's see some clips. We got 2 more that I'd like to show before we sign off.
I got one more David Pepper.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, all right. Hold on. Let me find that one real fast. It'll take me about 2 seconds.
Thank you so
yeah.
much.
By the way, I would really I don't care what their gender is. I don't care skin color. I don't care anything. I just want them to be a hard charger and take the fight to them, because that's what we need.
We
intense
need
partisan
people to
gerrymandering
understand
remains
it.
everywhere. And over time, Michigan shows us and Virginia shows us that you can beat it. But there are a whole lot of states that are living in this very sort of non-representative world that we're stuck into in Ohio. And a lot of it is a result of, in this case, just outright defiance of court ruling.
I love that guy.
Outright defiance of court rulings.
I mean, that what he's saying is extremely important, right? Because as soon as you start getting, actual officials and departments opposing the rule of law,
Yes.
then you have a problem.
Yes.
Because then you have a whole bunch of people who are committing crimes, but you run the risk of, inciting all the other ones. So,
Yes.
We have got ourselves in a conundrum.
Yes, we do.
But we
So,
will we will I'm feeling more oddly confident now that everything is all actually falling apart, you know?
and it's falling apart in the open, where if you don't know something about what's going on, then you really aren't paying attention. I want, before we go to Fred P. Wellman, I definitely would like to just do a shout out to Joel Greenberg. He's the right.
You
Hold
gotta
on,
hand
guys.
it to him.
Hold on,
No,
guys.
no, you do not. No,
Hold
you do
on.
not.
Hold on. Let me just
Fuck
get
that
through
guy.
this. Let me get through this. He is the Roger Stone and Matt Gates associate who used the public trust to facilitate a crime spree, including sex trafficking of a minor, wire fraud, aggravated identity theft. In all of his criminal conduct, he violated the public's trust in government. But you know me, I'm a docu-nerd. I love reading the little tiny fine print. I like the footnotes. I like all the little tiny stuff. And there it is right here. The defendant has provided substantial assistance on other matters discussed in the sealed supplemental memorandum regarding defendant's cooperation. Why I like that is because it would be very nice to see some of these really devious clowns actually get charged.
I just if Twitter is still working at any point in the future, and I don't know if it is, I go to Gal's timeline. She has an enormous, amazing thread about Joel Greenberg's indictment.
Great.
That is like shows in very, very excellent detail exactly what's going on there and why he got the plea deal he did.
Fantastic. I love to hear that. Love to hear it. Love to see it. So that was one thing that I wanted to point out. Can we see FP Wellman's clip if you can find it? So we thought it was really important post midterms, when we really kind of were grounded in what actually had happened, that we got Fred's takeaways. And so he was kind enough to spend an hour with us Monday morning, doing a really important recap from his perspective. He's obviously a Democratic political strategist, and someone I just appreciate so much.
We need people like Fred in the actual leadership.
Yes, we do.
I'm serious.
Yes, we do.
We need hard ass, like fucking, people like Fred who have no fucks, who have been around, and also get it, who understand things like the beer hall putsch and understand the history that we're facing here, and aren't mired in their dumbass, imagined politics. So,
and how about Fred not only bringing all that knowledge, but also being a war veteran and doing multiple tours of duty and having that perspective as well.
That's part of the reason, right? Like Fred, you can see Fred's fucking basic training comes out, man. He
does. I encourage everybody to go to that interview, watch the whole thing, get inspired, watch Fred Wellman, watch David Pepper, watch Ruth Ben-Ghiat, watch Jason Stanley. Those are the 4 last episodes, and support our work if you can, because we're just gonna keep on doing this as long as we're able to speak and think for ourselves. And do we have that clip?
We do, but first I have to say something about what Gal said. The sealed documents are very likely Roger Stone and other, possibly specific to the 2018 governor's race and Rick Scott's Senate race.
Great, great.
Yeah,
yes, please.
I'm telling you, like, there's a lot in there that any normal, even highly educated person on the subject would not understand. So anyway,
there's a lot of stuff going on. Hey, Gal, make sure you archive that thread. Right. Well, we still got like 5 minutes left, and I want to go out with
don't we have a clip?
Yeah, play Fred's clip. Play Fred's clip.
But I only have one Fred's clip, and I wanted to end with it. Damn it!
No, we're not.
No, no, no,
Just
no,
play
no, no,
it,
no, no, no,
you
no, no. Play
boomer.
it. Play it. Play it. Play it.
You guys suck.
Play
Stop
it.
being
The biggest mistake you see in
Elmo
the world all
over
the time.
here.
We win a battle, but don't exploit the victory, right? And
That's
that's
it.
I'm an old soldier, okay? So just because we've beaten them on the battlefield doesn't mean we have to exploit. We let Lee retreat from Gettysburg and end up with 2 more years of war, right? I mean, you know, if you look at the Civil War, we had a lot more Civil War than we needed to because Union generals kept saying, "Well, we won," and then let the Confederate Army walk away. Why did they not survive the end? I'll tell you where I'm sitting right now. I'm in Richmond, Virginia. I'm about, you know, I'm literally sitting right where the Union broke through, not far from here in Petersburg, and broke through. And what did Grant do? When he took Richmond, he kept going. He chased Lee across Virginia until he got to Appomattox Courthouse and finally defeated him. Okay. So what we're in now, I believe, you guys, is we may have won this battle, but if we don't pursue the enemy until he's extinguished, the war will continue.
Word. Fred.
I have a phrase for that. Fascism does not stop on its own. It must be defeated. We have got to fucking chase them down, just like Fred said, and we can't let them just burrow in. I mean, they're going to, right? But we need them to be some far away place where it's going to take them another 50 years to crawl out of their fucking hole again. Right? What we need to do is give our children and our grandchildren a chance to be strong enough to defeat them the next time they come up. Because they will. They always do. But our fucking job is to help the next generation be strong enough to survive it.
That's why we fight. High five. In the final minute, 2, 3 we have left. Please give us your high concept update on the midterms. I want to thank you guys. The episode I did for Byline Times Pod was the most listened to episode. That's the one that I did with Sam Bright, their investigative editor. And I think it's because he was bringing the news from the UK and I was bringing the news from America. So people really wanted to hear what was happening at that moment in both countries. And you guys really helped me prepare for it. And we weren't wrong. We had a much more clear-eyed view right after the midterms. And then I was looking around at all the confetti being thrown and I was concerned that maybe our report had been too grim, but hell no, we were right on point. And I want to know if anything's changed in your perspective.
The house is going to be a complete and utter shit show.
Look, every single opportunity that they have to destroy the country in the next 2 years, they are going to do, because they know that no matter, like we were talking about this before, like stuff like the debt ceiling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If we default on the debt, it craters our credit rating, interest rates go through the roof, and the economy goes to shit, right? The Republicans know that even if it's them that actually force that to happen,
yes,
it won't matter 2 years from now. Donald Trump will just talk about how horrible Joe Biden's economy is. So that's the sort of thing that it doesn't even cross their mind that it hurts hundreds of millions of people that they're supposed to be protecting at all. It doesn't cross their minds because their empathy has been wiped away by this fucking cult that they're in. We've got to start seeing them as what they are, which is a literal fascist death cult who's going to use all the power that they have, including subpoena power, the power to arrest people, all this stuff. They are going to use it against us. We have got to be ready for it and not be shocked when it fucking happens.
Yeah.
And that's why we need ass kickers in there who are going to be willing to actually put up a fight, because it's going to get gnarly. It's going to get really fucking gnarly.
And now that's at the federal level. Now we got to talk about the state level too, because what are we going to see? We're going to see the gerrymandering. We're going to see, attacks on independent judiciary, like David Peppers said. We're going to see, just attack after attack after attack after attack. That's what we're going to be facing for the next 2 years in the run up to the presidency.
So we have to start doing the work now. And we have to do the work through the entire 2023. We have to pay attention to everything that's happening in the state houses, and we got to build our own backbench. So we know what we got to do. All right, you guys. This was amazing.
All right. Let's go.
Love you.
Are we done? Is that
We're
it?
done. That's it.
Well, can we say goodbye, or can we just have a moment? Like, before, I mean,
You want to have a moment?
I just want to, it feels like we should have a moment together before we just go like, oh, it's 8 o'clock. Oh my God. What do we get? Everybody out there, it's fucking crazy, right? Twitter's crashing. We've got fucking fascists in the house. All this bullshit is going on, blah, blah, blah. Whatever, man. It's fine. Go to Mastodon. It's going to be weird and slow for a little bit, but you're going to be fine. Okay. Also, these idiots in the fucking house are gonna scream and yell and do their dumb bullshit, and hopefully we can hold on over the next 2 years while they scream and cry, and everybody, all they're gonna do is prove that they don't belong anywhere near the political system at all.
Yes.
So we're going to be okay eventually. And I just wanted to try and go out on a little bit of a better note than maybe we were.
And I want to see some perp walks. That's my final word.
Arrest Mike Flynn.
Yes, that's it.
That's your cue.
No, because there's one final fucking thing.
Damn it. That was perfect.
Nope, too bad. I would hearken back to the movie Conan. Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of their women.